Welcome back, everybody, to the Most Valuable Podcast. I am your host, Mark Williams, with my colleague,
Victor Castro.
and we are just two dudes who do real estate for a living. And today we got a special guest, a good friend of mine, another real estate agent here in the Bay Area that if you don't follow this gentleman, I'm going to give you all the info you need to, but we got our good friend, Cruz here. And Cruz, man, thanks for being able to come onto the podcast today. We appreciate your time. Know you're a busy man, right? You got two businesses. Chris got two businesses to run, right? Two businesses, family man. Been out in Concord for a long time, right? Also grew up in San Francisco as well. So Chris knows all the different cities here in the Bay Area. And today, we're going to talk a little bit about what got Chris into real estate. Chris has a team, so he has some agents that are underneath him as well. A little bit about what he's experiencing in the market for you that are listening, that are looking to be potential buyers. And then also a little bit about, expanding his portfolio when it comes to being a business owner. It's a lot. I was like a tongue twister. Repeat that, Victor. But Chris, man, yeah, thanks for coming, man. Let's get into it, dude. So You've been real estate for what? This year 8 now, right?
This is year 8. So first, thank you guys. Vic and Mark. We pretty much work the same area. I'm happy to be here on your podcast. It means a lot that I got the invite.
Yeah.
I was waiting for the invite, and I finally got it. So
yeah, you got the invite, bro, for sure. Funny story is me and Chris, we have never really officially worked together, meaning we have never been a part of the same brokerage, but we've essentially worked together from day one.
Yeah.
So we were, I went to orientation when I was part of the Delta Association MLS. I was in orientation. I'm sitting at the table. I'm like, dude, I know this dude across the. Like, where do I know this guy from?
I was doing the same.
Yeah.
I was like,
where do I know this
familiar
guy from, bro?
Who's that guy, man?
And then I'm like, Chris, Mark? Yeah, Verizon, right? Mario? Yeah, bro. Oh, what's up, dude? It's like, we were like, we knew each other, and it just so happens that we started getting into real estate at the same time. Yeah. So it was really cool, man. We definitely talked each other off the ledge many times. We still do to this day.
Yeah, I think Mark more, giving me the strength of staying into real estate after like year 1 and 2.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But I mean, for those that are listening that may want to get into real estate, or maybe, we do have a couple agents that listen to us that may be starting off their career. You might have some of your team members listening to you on this podcast, right, that are new to the industry. Talk a little bit about what that year 1, 2, and what those struggles were, and how you were able to overcome those challenges.
Yeah, no, well, it's the first year, I took it as like promoting myself. You have to promote yourself, come in, an advice is to come in with some type of savings, right, for these cold months, especially if you're not on a team that generates leads or offers you some type of lead services. So definitely have like rainy day funds and be able to continue your life with possibly no income on 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. So it was hard. The first year, I helped 3 families purchase a home, and that was me starting real estate in April, right? So April, and it took me until October to close my first deal. So those months I had no.
I mean, we're both on the same train. I think I closed my first deal that year in August, like end of August.
Yeah.
We're both like, dude, what are we gonna do?
Yeah. Yeah, and coming, from retail, right? So I worked at Verizon Wireless for like 11 years before getting into real estate, helping families buy cell phones and being able to communicate with their loved ones. So, that's part of why I got into real estate. If I told myself if I could sell communication, it's a smaller scale in retail, it's phones. I could do the same. It's just building relationships, having people trust you, doing the right thing for the client. And I brought that into real estate, just selling properties, so
So the 3 deals go by,
yeah.
and you're like, okay, I know I can do this. How do I leverage these 3 deals going into year 2? So what was that mindset, and how did year 2 pan out for you?
Year plan, I mean, yeah, year 2, I doubled the amount of transactions. So I only closed about 7 deals my second year in real estate. But
which is better than 3
yeah, my
the
year
first
over
year.
year,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
It
was
doubled.
up. Yeah.
you're over
And
100%
Yeah.
increase in business.
so, and it's what we were doing, what I was doing. I didn't have any type of systems for leads. And to this day, I still do not, in a way.
Yeah,
But I checked in on those 3 clients. The experience I provided for those 3 families on year 1 helped me generate some referrals on year 2, and continuing my promotion, my self promotion on social media, continue to bring me new business.
nice.
So
Did you start seeing year 2? Was that the year you felt like I can make a career out of this, or was there still some like hesitation?
hesitation for sure. I think that's when Mark saved me from leaving real estate. It was, it was tough, like seven transactions could equate to like maybe 70,000. I don't know if
Yeah,
I could
yeah,
say
yeah,
that.
for sure.
In the price point I'm in, but I didn't have a partner, right? So there was no other income to offset those, months that I didn't have income.
You weren't working another job while you
No,
were
yeah,
doing
no,
this.
no other
Yeah.
job. I was full time in real estate since I started it. Um, so that's where I did have to tap into some savings, right?
Yeah.
To keep me afloat with my mortgage. I had a mortgage. I rented my home out. That helped. But I still had, credit cards. I had like a car loan.
Mhm.
So I still
Still had life.
had life and bills,
You got to eat.
and I want to go out too,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was still, should I continue in real estate? Can I do better? Or do I, just call it quits?
Make an exit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So now you're in year 8. What has changed, and what do you think is still the same? And maybe like, how are you working on like changing that?
Still the chain. Well, things that have changed is, I'm helping more families, right?
Yeah.
Every year. I started growing a team. So I have a total of 4 agents, me being one. So 3 agents under me.
So when you say team, to someone that maybe is listening to this and doesn't understand like what a real estate team is, like what is that? Like,
It's a group of realtors working with each other, either receiving some type of training, or maybe a team lead. So there's a team lead that is mentoring or training maybe possibly newer agents or seasoned agents.
mhm.
And that allows us to help more families, cover more of the Bay Area. We also can lean on each other if we need to go, if we're working with 2 clients, 2 families, and they want to go see a home at the same time. I do lean on some of the agents to help me support my clients, as I'm going to help them support their clients.
Got you.
So
So essentially, it's you got you, and then expanding your business, being able to have your hand and help as many people as possible. You have some additional agents, can vary as far as like their experience level.
yeah,
For the most part, most of them are fairly new agents, but they're learning. They're learning from you, someone that's been in it for 8 years. But then also you're able to coach them up, and then also be able to help yourself be able to help more families by them offloading some of the like the day to day, and you can't be at 4 places at once, right? If you
right.
got 4 families to help, so that's cool, man. And the name of Chris's group, and you can follow. We'll have all this stuff linked down below, so you can follow Chris and his team on Instagram at the Cruz Group. That's at THE Cruz Group, and you can also follow Chris at realtor Cruz. So REALTOR Cruz on Instagram. So make sure you follow him. I know Chris got a personal one, but I'll let him share that with you if you follow him on his business profiles. I tell him that he should only have one, but you're posting the same stuff, bro. But hey, sometimes you got to keep little things private, but we respect that. So cool, man. So 8 years went from okay, I don't want to do this. I don't know if I can do this. Maybe I can do this, to fast forward today. I got a team of 4. What are some things that you are experiencing in the industry this year that has been challenging for not just you, but maybe the clients that you've been helping?
I mean, it's always, with new buyers, it's the rate, it's what they see like on the news, rates, or I'm going to wait it out. But, I would tell families like, well, speak to us, ask us questions. Let's jump on a Q&A call. Let me know what your hurdles are to see if there are some solutions right now. Right now, 8 years later, and, I'm coming across assumable loans for families, and that's new to me. But it's where a client or a family that's looking to buy, they can take over the existing loan on a property, and if the seller's willing to wait 2 months or 3 months for that process to take place, they'll be able to sell their property, and then the buyer is able to possibly receive a 2 or 3% rate.
Gotcha.
Instead of signing up with today's rates of
So
6 and
how
7.
does one know if their loan's assumable?
There's websites, or you connect. I can find out for you, right?
Yeah.
But there's websites out there that that a consumer can use. A family that's looking to buy, they can go type in the city they want to look for these assumable rates, and there's a search that will take place, and you'll be able to see all the homes that have this option.
Got you.
Now, if the seller's willing to wait for that process to be completed.
What's this website?
It's called withrome.com.
Withrome.com.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It could be plural with Rome's, but I think it's just with Rome.
Yeah, just Google it.
Yeah,
with Rome's or
Rome.
with Rome.
Yeah. And it's cool. It'll tell you like what you as a buyer need to come in with as far as cash, your funds to buy your property.
Difference, paying the difference.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what the assumable loan is. So essentially, the potential buyer is whatever the balance of that loan, they have to qualify for that balance.
For the balance.
And then whatever you're buying it for, they have to have the funds
to pay
that difference.
Correct.
Is that okay?
Yes.
So you're probably, it's good, but you're probably looking to purchase homes that maybe someone recently refinanced or just purchased in the last year or two.
Yeah, but I mean, if you don't have, large down payment, right? Then you would want to hopefully find a property that was recently purchased.
Because like anyone that bought pre-COVID is probably 30-40% up on their property, wouldn't you think? Like for the most part, depending on what city it is, right? They may have paid $500K and now their property's worth $8. So if I was to assume that loan, and they've been owning it for 5-6 years, their loan balance might only be like $450.
Yeah.
And I would have to have
$350.
the $350 or $250 to pay the difference.
And so for first-time home buyers, it may not work, right? What if the seller used a VA loan? So
True. You have to be VA themselves too, right?
No. So if you're not, with military background, if you would normally not qualify for a VA loan, you can still obtain take over an existing VA loan.
Okay.
But the seller would lose out on their benefits.
That's what I was going to say.
It sticks with the property.
The VA benefits would stick with the property. So as a VA, you can buy multiple homes with the VA, but you have like a benefit limit. So that VA person essentially
would use one of their
there's
benefits.
a possibility their replacement property, if they're looking for one,
they
may not be able to use VA for that.
Right.
But it all depends. Like they might say, I'm buying the next one cash. You never know.
Yeah. Or, or if we're working with like past clients that own a property and, they're going to have the funds, because they have equity in their previous home, they can look into,
Yeah.
Going the conventional route or something.
yeah, gap in the difference. They'll have those type of funds,
Yeah.
right? So it's just another tool for us to help families that want to buy and maybe, are thinking about it just because of the rate. It's
Yeah.
just another option, just like, being able to buy down your rate. That's an option. But or maybe my audience, my clients they may not know about it.
Yeah.
So
I think a lot of people don't know about it, right? They see, I'm experiencing with the open house and the listings we have, a lot of buyers, they're looking, but no one's like pulling the trigger. And I feel like people are waiting for like that perfect storm. But you've been doing this for 8 years. What happens when that perfect storm happens? It's a perfect storm for everybody, including the seller.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Especially for the seller.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we're leaning towards, right? You sent me the thing yesterday, Victor, about the head of the Federal Reserve.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
What's happening on that?
Well, there's a lot of mixed reports going, back and forth in the media and social media, TikTok. We don't know what's true, but there's some guessing that he might resign. Jerome Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve. Okay. And if that happens, the media is going to obviously report on that. And, as well, a lot of people have been waiting on. As soon as that happens, credit card rates and, car notes, all the rates are going to come down and people are going to start refinancing.
Stocks go up, crypto goes up.
And, even though real estate mortgages or the rates don't tie in directly into that, it follows, it follows.
Consumer spending.
Exactly.
Right now, you got people that are, investments are up, right? The stock market, it's all like a cycle. But yeah, people that are like, do I cash out my 401k right now? Do I cash out, this, GameStop stock? I had to throw that one in there. We're gonna talk about that today.
Was that you?
We're gonna talk about that a little bit today, if you don't mind, bro. But that's kind of put them on the spot. But stuff like that. Like people are hesitant to sell stuff because it's low, right? So it's like, well, I have to cash out this investment to buy this home.
Yeah.
But when the consumer confidence switches because now money is cheaper, it has the effect on the real estate market that, okay, now people want to make that purchase, right? Regardless of the rate.
Yeah.
Okay. I think what people are forgetting too is like, there's things that are being passed right now that actually like increase the benefits of owning a home as far as like tax write-offs and stuff like that. So that's good, man. Essentially finding like another solution for your clients as far as like, hey, rates are issues. Check out this website. Maybe
which is what good realtors do.
So are you doing one of those loans right now?
I may do one this week. Yeah.
Okay.
So we toured some homes over the weekend out in Brentwood. And we did find one with like a loan balance close to the sales price.
Got you.
And the family I'm helping, they're actually expecting to place a larger down payment.
Got you.
So now they're going to be able to save some of their money for like improvements on the home, if any. So yeah, I'll see how it plays out.
Yeah.
But I did bring this up to the team earlier this morning. Like, hey, just learn about this. You can
have it in your back pocket. Just
have it in your back pocket. You never know when you may come across something like this.
Now you mentioned when you got into real estate, you had to rent out your home. So when did you, Chris Cruz, become a homeowner? How old were you, and why did you make that decision to purchase a home at that time?
It was 2014.
Okay.
Out here in Concord. So I'm 37 right now, so 23 or
so was that 11
10,
years ago?
10, 11, yeah. Yeah, like 26.
Yeah,
I was like
okay.
26 years old. I used FHA financing, pulled money out of my 401k, and want to go buy a home, and I did what many of I guess I did what I'm not open to, like, I don't agree with, like, buyers wanting to go directly to the listing agent, because I did that.
Got you.
And so I experienced what it's like going directly to the listing agent. And I feel like I could have got a better deal if I would have been represented by a different agent,
Got you.
because their first interest is, the seller. They're going to take care of the sellers before you as a buyer. Now,
Got you.
they're supposed to, we're supposed to be fair. They're supposed to be fair, but there's documents that you are signing that they are disclosing that the seller is really their first client. But yeah, 2014, I bought a home. I told myself I could buy a home. I should be buying a home right now. I was living with my parents at 24 years old, or 26, 25, somewhere there.
Yeah.
But I was able to. So it worked out. And I lived there for like a few years, like 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
And then I rented it for like it's still renting. So it's still.
So you still own the property?
I still own it.
2014. So what, if you wouldn't mind, because I'm sure I think it's like experiences like this. So first off, I know why did you go directly to the listing agent? Was that what someone told you to do, or?
It's what my dad told me to do.
Okay.
Who,
Because your dad does real estate. He's in the real estate game,
yeah,
right?
he's owned some homes here in the Bay Area and sold. So, that's who I was being kind of guided by.
Yeah.
And I seen how it helped him, and it helped him and my mom, just providing a better environment for us, me and my sister. And so yeah, having him tell us, go buy a home, that was part of the reason why I want to go buy a home.
Nice.
So.
But him telling you to go to a listing agent, see, I think in our last guest, we talked about this a little bit as well. I don't think he was misguiding you, because this is 2014. So
it depends on the market.
Yeah, he was probably buying homes, A, before the crash, and B, during the crash too, right? So things were a little bit more different back then than they are today. Kind of how, like, to your point.
And even in disclosures too, they've changed too. And you made a point. I kind of have a different point of view.
Okay.
I feel like, and I think Mark shares this with me as well. And I know Brooks, when he was here, he shared the same view. It's really more based on the agent's intent and ethics and morals and principles, to me.
I agree.
Because you can do a great job for both. I feel like, I've done, dual representation before, and I feel like both of them were extremely happy with the outcome. And, yes, there's agents out there that do it just to benefit their pockets. That's a reality. But it just goes back to, what we've been preaching is if you sit down and ask the right questions before you decide to sign an agreement for buyer representation, which is now, it's mandatory now, which helps the industry, so it kind of helps you even more to kind of, decide, is this really a good move or not?
Yeah, that agent saw Chris, 26, walking in with his cornrows down to his shoulders. Like, with this tall tee on, like, I got this, kid. Yeah, I could help you out. I'll help you buy
Oh, wait,
this.
you want to buy cash? Oh, I got you.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy, right? Like,
yeah. You made it great.
I'm just happy I made the decision on buying a home. I guess could I have gotten a better price? But not by much, honestly. Like, it was the fair price at the time.
So at the time for this property, you don't have to give the property address. It's in Concord. It's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath home, right?
2-bath, yeah.
2-bath, 2-2. Good sized lot, right? How much did that home cost you when you bought it?
$315,000.
Wow.
$315,000.
And you want FHA, so you put what, 3.5% down at that time? Okay, so $315,000, and I'm proving a point here, so stay with me. Okay, so 2014, it's 2025 now. how many times have you refinanced your loan on that property?
Once.
Okay. And when did you
Once.
refinance it?
Before COVID.
Okay.
So
When you
before-
bought the home, do you remember what your rate was? Like your interest rate? Like a guess, rough estimate?
4 or 5 or 5%.
5%? Okay. And then what are you locked into now?
3.25 or so.
So you eliminated 2% off of what you had.
Yeah.
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 Well, the point I'm getting is you refinance. Like I said, the average person stays in their home 9 to 10 years. There's gonna be a situation, life, market, something where you're more than likely gonna have to you're gonna redo your loan. And
Yeah, it happened like 4 years after I bought it.
Okay.
And then during COVID, right? Again, going back to year 1, year 2 in real estate.
Yeah.
I wanted to lock in that new rate, right? 2.5%.
Yeah.
But I didn't have the income to show the bank that I was able to, refinance.
Yeah.
So
Because you went
Some-
from being employed to self-employed.
W2,
Corporate to
corporate to independent.
Yeah.
So 315. What is that home worth today?
About 635.
You all right, bro?
635.
You right?
Bro, it happens.
Victor's over here like choking.
It happens when I drink too
It's-
much coffee.
yeah.
Richard's over here. I'm like, am I gonna do CPR on this dude or
yeah.
what?
Yeah, when I have coffee, I get jittery, bro.
So you have so
It's
three-
double.
it's doubled.
Double 630. Yeah.
It's doubled. So and you when you refi, did you take cash out? Did you consolidate any other debts or
No, I consolidated. No, I just wanted a lower payment.
So you just
I
got a
didn't
lower
even- I didn't
payment.
take money out. I did though, like take money out. I want to say like 6 years ago,
Okay.
7 years ago, but it was to buy a property outside the country.
got you?
So I did what's called a HELOC.
Okay.
Or I had
Nicaragua?
got a second loan. Yeah, and I bought a home in Nicaragua.
Okay.
For
For rental purposes.
For
like-
rental.
yeah.
So it was being rented
An
out.
investment property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So you leveraged your home to make another investment, right? Do you still have the property in?
I just sold it this year.
Okay. Congratulations
So-
on
Did
the
you make
sale.
money?
I made money.
You made
and
money.
and I paid off my second loan off.
There you
There
go.
you go.
Congratulations. That's
And
another
then-
leverage.
So now you're, and this is all good information. This is like, I'm trying to like, as someone that's not only in real estate, but before they got into real estate, nothing against working at Verizon, but working a normal job, right? Which I'm
Right.
saying a normal job. And you probably make more at Verizon today than you did back in 2013 if doing just because of what minimum wage is. Like it's like doubled, right?
Yeah.
Since back then. And then commissions or whatever. You rent it out. Do you get like market value for the rent?
Yes.
Okay. So if I had to guess, $3,000 a month.
Close. Yeah. Just
Okay.
about.
And then if you bought in 2014 at 315. and you've
Here's
been
Mark running the numbers.
and you've
This
been
is what
paying
Mark's
and
good
stuff.
at.
What's your monthly mortgage? Like $1,500?
A little over that. Yeah.
All in.
Yeah, all in. With
So
property
now
tax.
someone's paying for your mortgage, and you have $1,500 plus in your pocket because at 26 you decided to not be scared and make a home
it
purchase.
just goes back to with rentals, right? Well, rent was what during 2014 when you bought it? What was rental? What was a typical rent in that area?
Maybe-
in that time.
maybe 1,600, 1,500.
$1,600.
Yeah.
Rents today are what?
yeah, double.
3,000
Double.
less, Yeah. And the mortgage back then was like 2,300.
So it was a little bit more. It was a
So it was
little bit
more.
It was a little bit more.
But at a certain point, and I made this point over the weekend on my story as I'm trying to sell the home that I'm trying to sell, and I'm telling people like, you get into a property and you make it into an investment as soon as you can. The goal is to do that because if you're in the property for 30 plus years, who's really benefiting from that?
Yeah.
The bank, right? The bank is making all the money.
Yeah.
And you're just giving away your money instead of leveraging your property, turning it into a rental, having someone pay the mortgage down. And then at a certain point, rent is going to surpass whatever that mortgage is, and you're going to make passive income. So why wouldn't you want to repeat that process with 3-4 different properties and retire at whenever you
when you
please
can,
to,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, man. So it's just the power of real estate, dude. So, like, I think that's a great. Thanks for sharing, Chris, too, and being open. That's everyone listening to this. Like, I'd run that 10 minutes on repeat. Like, bought a home because I figured it out. I could. I saw my parents do it, right? And that's the thing. Some of the people we help, their first time home, they're the first ones in their family buying a home,
Yeah.
right? So it's like, yeah, rates are crazy, but I think it's a long play, right? And it's like, look, get in. Yeah, it's a little bit more than rent, but rents always go up. They never go down. And then on top of that, like, your value's gonna double. I mean, in all honesty, in 10 years it doubled. What's that little $315,000 home gonna be worth 10 more years from now?
Yeah. Double again.
And then
Exactly.
and the
No,
cra-
well, like I just did the math. I
Yeah.
just pulling my calculator up. So like rent back then was about $1,500. My
Yeah.
mortgage was like $2,200.
yeah.
So let's just say, $700 that I'm paying extra by owning this home, right? Over a year, that's $8,400, and I've owned it since 2014.
Mm-hmm.
So
11
about
years.
11 years. This may work out with what I'm trying to get to, but I spent, $92,000, and that's not even my mortgage now, right? So, but
Yeah.
let's just say I never refinanced, and that was my mortgage. I spent about $92,000 extra in rent, and if rent never went up, right?
Yeah, friends say the same.
But I made $315,000 in equity, so I'm still up 200,000
Yeah.
plus.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
the power of, I guess, buying real estate, right?
Yeah, that's the thing, is seeing, dude, that's awesome, bro. That's the difference between complaining about your situation and then doing something about your situation.
Yeah.
Because you saw that, hey, there is light at the end of the tunnel. It's not the next day, but if I sacrifice a little bit right now, 10 years from now, engaged Chris, dad Chris, is now in a better position than club on Friday night, Saturday night Chris at 26.
Bar on Tuesday nights too.
Hey, and not to mention what you're generating from your second business, which we're going to touch in a minute as well. So, hats off to you and your soon-to-be wife.
Soon to be wife.
Yeah,
Giovanna,
man.
shout out.
Shout out to Giovanna.
So since we got JC up, let's talk about home staging by JC. So if you guys don't know this, not only is Chris a great real estate agent here in the Bay Area, he is co-founder with his partner Giovanna, a staging company. So why don't you talk a little bit about like how that came about? And I mean, honestly, the glow up, bro, because, from, a house worth of furniture and renting a U-Haul to now having your own truck and being able to do multiple homes at once. Like, why don't you talk a little bit about that and maybe why you got into it and, what you've learned from doing another business outside of real estate.
Yeah.
But it's also tied to real estate.
Yeah, it's tied to real estate. And I picked up a listing in Daly City. My buddy, he wanted to sell his property, and we budget that area and pretty much the whole Bay Area. You want to for sure stage. It's like it shouldn't be even thought of not doing. But he gave us a budget, right, of like $4,000 or something, or maybe $3,500. This was 5 years ago.
Okay.
And Giovanna had just left the banking. She was in banking for like 10, 12 years. And she's great at decorating the house. It's all seasonal, right? Like Halloween and spring and Christmas. And so I told her, hey, look, I have a budget of like $3,500. Do you want to like get into real estate and maybe just decorate homes? And we used those funds. Luckily, my friend was okay with that, right? Like, hey, with his permission, we're going to stage it ourselves. And he was on board with it. We staged a Daly City home, and it turned out really, really nice. And we started with like pre-owned,
Mm-hmm.
right, furniture
Okay.
through Facebook Market, some Hobby Lobby and Home Goods and Target, now to just buying brand new. Like now today we just buy brand new inventory.
Got you.
But that's how it started, with a budget, a listing of mine, and she decided to become a home stager. And so I've worked more of the business side, and for sure the first 2-3 years it was labor intense. So I did pick up these couches and
Yeah.
went up some flight of stairs, and it was a lot of work. But now I've stepped back from it, and we have like a crew that helps her out. And from being able to stage like one home at a time, wait for that house to go pending, to get our furniture, maybe buy more inventory to
Yeah.
not match and not keep it the same, right? From the previous staged home, now to being able to stage like 17 houses at a time.
Dang, that's dope, dude.
So
That's dope. That's dope.
it took a
Congrats.
lot of fucking work.
Oh
though.
yeah, I bet. I
I've
bet.
talked to Mark like, bro, this shit
What did I do to
sucks, man."
myself?
Hey, wait.
You
So,
know?
I want to dive a little bit more into the staging aspect, but that home in Daly City, just tying everything in. Was that the one on Oceanside?
Yeah.
All right. So the home he sold on Oceanside, my parents' very first home purchase was on that same street.
On Oceanside.
So the very first home that I lived in that my family owned was like 10 houses down the street. My parents bought that house for $260,000.
Wow.
How much did you sell your buddy's home for?
So at the time, it was a record sale for everyone listening.
5 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. It sold for 1.065.
Over $1 million.
900,000 above.
I can tell you right now, my parents, when they bought that home, didn't think they were buying $1 million home.
Yeah.
It just more proof that real estate, it always makes sense at the end of the day.
It does.
Right. And they bought that in, aging myself, they bought that home like 92, 91, 92. So crashes have happened, wars, like all sorts of stuff. Right.
Yeah.
And it's still gone up.
It still held up
You
its
know,
value. And
now that neighborhood's like 1.5, bro.
Yeah, it's
Easily.
it's up there. But yeah, owning really, like my first house, it was tough making those payments.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. So there is sacrifice behind it.
Yeah.
There were months where I was like, holy smokes,
Yeah.
like, what do I do? But I stuck through it, less bar hopping.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to ride on some ball tires for a little
top
bit.
ramen.
So the staging part. So okay. So
Yeah,
staging,
staging.
and make sure. Look, we're gonna have all of Chris's links in down below, but you can follow him on that Instagram as well. It's at Home Staging by JC. You have at the Cruz group, and you have at Realtor Cruz. This guy's got 1 million freaking Instagram. the staging.
And I have the personal
The
one.
personal one, I won't give that out. You can give that out to who you choose to. So staging. So what is one, being in this industry? Obviously, you've seen homes that aren't staged and are staged. So to our clients that are thinking about selling their home and they're interviewing agents and staging comes up, right? Tell me why you got in the staging business. Since being in it, do you see a major difference?
Yeah, no, it's a difference. Like, that's why I say you shouldn't even second think staging when you're ready to sell your home.
Okay.
Just like, I do follow like Kevin Cruz at Kinetic Real Estate. It makes sense what he said. It's like a home that's vacant sells higher and faster versus a home that's occupied.
Yeah.
And not all of us can not leave our house because it's our primary residence when we're selling, but at least stage it, owner occupying staging, it exists. Not every stager does it, but we do. And it makes a huge difference. Again, you'll sell faster. A home that doesn't stage, it's like there's no vibrancy in it. Like you can't picture where you are going to put you can speak about it, right? You could think about where you could put your dining table at. But when it's staged, it's already laid out for you.
Gotcha.
Not every buyer has the same image or imagination to be able to do that. So
Yeah.
staging kind of helps with that
Yeah.
and brings the imagination, to life.
What's your thoughts on digital staging?
I think
'Cause-
it's cool.
Okay.
I'm open for that, especially I mean, if a condo's like on the 20th floor and it's an old building and you can't really get some staging stuff up there. It depends on who you use, right? I've had Creo Real Estate Media. They've done some editing on some virtual staging. For example, we had like a Murphy bed in a small condo in Vallejo. We staged the entire place, but I couldn't stage the bed. So we created an image of the bed being laid out
Got you.
with the bedding, and it looked pretty cool. I'm not against it, but once the buyer comes into the property,
It doesn't see what
it's
they
not
were
the same experience.
That's again.
It'll bring them to the home,
Right. It'll bring them to the home, which is a goal.
which helps.
But I mean, to each their own. I kind of tend to have a different opinion on that. I feel like if you're going to present something, you gotta finish the deal. You gotta close on it. You gotta set out what you promised, right? And so when you bring the buyer to the home and they don't see that, they're probably not going to fall in love with it the same way, right? They don't see what they were imagining it was going to look like. So that's just my opinion. I don't know what
I'm
you
like-
think.
I'm-
That's our slogan there.
I'm kind of like with Chris, like to the point where I think the
On a
digital
20
aspect
on
can
a
be
20 level. Yeah,
well, the
yeah,
digital
yeah.
aspect can be used to enhance. Like for instance, like to his point, let's just say on our listing we have, if I have a home with 6 bedrooms, odds are I'm not going to stage the full house.
Yeah, and
Because honestly, I'm not spending the way we run our business model. You're talking, you can spend like $8,000 on, like it depends on the price point too, right? If it's a $10 million home, every room's being staged. I don't care what the price point is. If it's $1 million home, I'm gonna make sure that the common areas, the master, maybe a nursery or office is staged. But the other 3 rooms that are all the same size with the window, I can see using digital staging to enhance that. Like, hey, look, this room can fit like a queen size bed or something like that, right?
yeah.
But does it make sense for that overhead cost of regardless of who's covering it, the seller or the agent, to spend another $3,000 to have 3 more beds that aren't really going to sell the home? What's going to sell the home is going to be the kitchen, the living room, the family room, the backyard, the master, stuff like that, right?
I agree with
So
Mark
so
on that.
essentially,
But I wouldn't do an
Just-
empty house.
just filling in the gaps.
yeah, exactly.
Just
Yeah.
the-
I wouldn't do an empty. Like yesterday, I showed a home, and Chris sent it to me. So one of our mutual friends, I helped them purchase their home, and then I'm helping them sell and replace it. And he sent me this home. I was like, oh yeah, bro. I showed him this home. It went pending. Found out it didn't go pending, and the pictures look amazing. I was like, hey, I think this is the one they really like.
Yeah.
It was the trashiest home I've ever seen in my life.
Pictures.
It was-
Enhanced
it was-
photos.
It was empty.
photoshopped.
It was empty, so it was all virtual staging. They didn't have the power on. They didn't have the water on.
Wow.
Oh man.
The quality of the work, it looks great in pictures, but it was definitely a 15-footer. Like, even for my clients that have been in their home and they overanalyze their home that they live in, their home's in great condition, but just for its age, right?
Yeah, it's good.
This home's supposed to be freshly renovated, and they're pointing out, look at the door gaps, look at the flooring.
All the
Now, here's
flaws.
the thing, though. If that home was staged, I bet you they wouldn't have saw all those defects.
They wouldn't.
Even though you shouldn't be hiding the defects,
Yeah, no.
but they're less noticeable,
Yeah.
right? And for an older home, there's going to be some use, right? If the home's 60, 70 years old, it's not going to be perfect. Brand new homes aren't perfect. But now we're hyper focused on every little thing because the home is like, it's like the Fresh Prince meme where he's just standing there in the living room, like there's nothing around.
Yeah. No, I mean, to that point, I also agree. If you're going to fill in the gap, there's a 1 room or 2 rooms that aren't, then that would kind of make sense.
We recommend that too. Like
Yeah.
Giovanna recommends that, like for a huge 3,000 square foot home with 6 bedrooms, it's like she would most likely recommend a partial to almost full staging.
Yeah.
Because you don't need a stage 6 bedrooms,
Right.
So that's for sure one of the better options if you're not going full staging.
Yeah.
Nice. So now you have so real estate, staging, they go hand in hand. How do you feel as like a business owner of two businesses right now? And what's what's the next 5 years look like for Chris
For
Cruz?
me, well, I'm getting married next year, so that's like right now on the top of my top of mind. I'm getting married. We're getting married. Um, Maybe another kid, right? Most likely another kid. We have two, so I have a stepdaughter, Maya, and my son Luciano, and I'm loving. I look at all these like social media stuff posts too, just like how to be present. So I want to be present with them, but I still want to scale my business in real estate. I always want to do the best I can on helping the agents that have trusted me to help them with their business in real estate. And that's kind of difficult, right? Like scaling here, and then, I mean, I the home staging business. Our next thing there is getting a warehouse, so that's still like we're on LoopNet. We have like some commercial agents helping us, like seeing if we get some bigger spaces. Personal life, getting married, getting another, growing our family, buying a home with her. That's a big one. I want to buy a home with her. And if that requires me to sell my property to have like a large down payment, that may be something I look into. May not, because our plan right now, it's been saving, right?
Yeah.
Savings. We are having a wedding. So I'm like, okay, I understand, I'm going to put money in this wedding and it's going away from our reserves, but it's making us grow as a family, and
Yeah.
things are just going to get much better. I'm hoping, if God permits.
Yeah, no hope, bro. They will, man. You're a good dude, and you got a good head on your shoulders, and it will happen for you.
Yeah.
That's dope, dude.
So a lot, growing a family, right? Buying a home, getting married, getting a warehouse,
That's a lot.
continuing my real estate.
Are you looking to purchase a warehouse, or are you looking to like
to
rent
lease?
a space?
At least to lease.
Okay.
To lease for sure right now.
Yeah.
But we want some space, like 1,500 square feet, where she could park the box truck in. As
Yeah.
you know, my box truck was stolen.
Recently.
So
Grand Theft Auto style.
having it in a commercial space, which who knows, warehouses get broken into, businesses get broken into. It can happen. So, things like that, though, that experience of, getting the box truck stolen, made us look into our insurances more, like bettered ourselves as a business owner.
Yeah.
On
Protection.
protecting our assets, our inventory. I got an alarm on it now. I got a kill switch now on it.
Yeah.
But those experiences, right?
Yeah.
Buying the house for the first time, not knowing what I was really getting into, I benefited from it. And not everything though, like, right, AMC stocks, I didn't benefit there. Christian Solano, that's my boy. He told me to invest. Well, I should have invested into something else, but hey, learning lessons.
You live and learn, bro.
Yeah, no,
and I'm surviving still. You know,
man,
so.
for sure.
I hate the stock market, bro. Like I do like lightly invest. I just feel I have the worst luck. Like I don't lose money, but I never like. Every time it's like a necessity for me to like cash out some stock, it's savings, it's money. Sometimes you got to use it, right? Like I try to do the long term for the most part, but sometimes you got to cash out. I swear, every time it's like in my head, I'm like, all right, next week, it matures or whatever. I get now it turns into like a long term gain, so my tax is less. I'm gonna sell, and then I just see that stock. Like they know, hey, everybody, Mark's ready to sell. Tank the stock. Dude, it's so fun. Like, I'm not lying. I'm supposed to be selling some stock today.
It's like scheduled.
I'm supposed to sell some stock today because we came long term on Thursday. And, Friday markets always suck. People sell. And, like, But as I'm looking, that stock was like peaking the week before, and all last week was just straight back to what it was. I'm like, bro, like, come on. So to me, like, I know you send me stuff all the time, Victor, about crypto. I always say in most investments, if everybody's already talking about it, it's too late.
Yeah,
That's true.
Except real estate, because it's been proven for over 75 plus years of data that it always goes up. And guess what?
There's no more land. There's only population growing.
Yeah.
So it's only going to go
There
up.
is some truth that if everyone starts talking about real estate, I'm not saying it's too late. It's just in the world of real estate, it's going to cost you a whole lot more.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, everyone was talking about it during interest rates were in the 3s before the pandemic, but no one was talking about it. Because everyone had to go to work and everyone was doing the rat race. And then the pandemic happened and people realized.
I bought before the pandemic.
Yeah.
3.1 rate.
Yeah. And then people realize they need more space and having like a place of their own is important. And all of a sudden, everyone's like, oh, the rates are super low. And everyone started talking about it. And then now rates are high. So everyone's like, oh, we'll wait till it goes another pandemic. Look, another pandemic ain't happening.
You ain't seen it in your life.
And I'm gonna tell you right this: if another pandemic happens, ain't no one listening to the rules.
Yeah.
That's for another topic, but you know what I'm saying.
Get ready to spend $100,000 to $200,000 over asking.
Yeah,
Just saying.
For sure. Well, Chris, man, thanks for your time, bro.
Oh man.
You know, like I said, I know. We are glad that we could be your first podcast to be on.
First ever?
First, I've been on.
I know you've been on radio.
And Ricky's
Oh,
podcast.
okay. So it's the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're not your first.
So
You were drinking tequila
Oh.
on that one, though.
Oh,
Yeah, I was drinking
you were on
tequila.
Tequila and Transaction?
Yeah, he was
Okay,
on there
okay.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ricky, we have Ricky on here too.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. Well, we appreciate you being one of our guests on the Most Valuable Podcast. Like I said, all of Chris's social medias will be in the description below. And with that, we look forward to winning with you.